Good morning. This is Josh Hayes with Hedge Plus, and here's today's market monitor. Uh, Not much going on. Yesterday, we saw the general economy, stock market, all those concerns hold back the grain markets somewhat, but in the general, the market, grain markets seem to be realizing that there's some detachment from what's going on with the rest of the economy. For instance, while everyone is scared about a weak dollar or a dollar that's hitting a 3-year low, that's actually positive for grain exports, and export inspections and sales continue to be strong. Another strong inspection report yesterday, um, running at as what's needed by the USDA, if not ahead of pace for the market year, and very little drop off from last week, which was a strong week as well. Um, we actually saw corn and wheat exceed the high end of expectations. So exports continue to be strong. And as we move closer to trade deals, I think the next shoe to drop, I've said this before, is going to be deals that are made that include uh, exports of our agricultural products. So I think that'll be a positive. Well, one surprise yesterday that might hold our markets back just a little bit is the rapid advancement of planting that we saw last week. Corn planting jumped all the way up to 12%, which was expected to be around 8%. And last year we were at 11% at this time, and the 5-year average for this time is 10%. So to get out ahead of the 5-year and last year, ahead of rain that's coming, when many thought the rain that's already fallen would lead to delays. Now, obviously, it hasn't in certain areas, but in the areas where flooding didn't occur and it wasn't just too wet to get out in the fields, massive progress was made this past week, and that caught everyone off by surprise to some degree. Wheat market is again trading down on the potential for rain. It's really odd to see how seriously, I guess, wheat market takes 10-day forecasts. I've never seen so much stock put in a 10-day forecast, but the 10-day forecast calls for rain in hard red winter wheat areas such as Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. But I got to say that talking firsthand to people in Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota yesterday, uh, they need a lot more rain than what's forecast, and the most recent rains missed many of the areas that it was expected to hit. The last round of storms was a disappointment in these areas, but yet the market doesn't seem to get much boost when that happens. But on the prospect of rain, it sure does seem to pull back. And we can kind of look at the effect of that here in a minute when we look at prices this morning compared to where they were yesterday. But just in general, I think it's an important point about managed money. They expected a much greater fallout for the grain markets from tariffs. And I think they thought there would be, maybe announcements that no one would be buying our grain, or people would be rushing to make deals, long-term deals with other countries. It just didn't happen. And when they essentially flipped their short position on soybeans to such a degree, and increased their long position in corn, and I guess decreased their short position in wheat to the degree they did in the week that ended April 15th. That's a pretty significant turn. They're pretty much essentially abandoning the idea that it's going to have that major of an impact on the grain market. So that is definitely a positive factor overall. Taking a look at the grain weather, abundant rain is helping soil moisture in a lot of places. Not quite the extreme western side of the grain and corn belts. It's definitely lacking rain in Nebraska, western third of Kansas, South Dakota, I believe North Dakota. I don't have that firsthand report, but I believe there's a definite lack of rain there. Um, but just about everywhere else, central growing states, Midwest, um, the eastern side of things is a little bit behind, but apparently they must have done some catching up here in the past week. So conditions are improving there. Perhaps we didn't see quite as much need for replanting as one might have expected from all the flooding that we saw out east. In China, they're getting rain in the south, but they definitely still are lacking rain in the north. Drier conditions for the next week or more for the Ukraine. That is not problematic right now. They have had a good amount of rain recently, so they could actually use some dryness for a little while. And everything's still looking good in Brazil. The expectation for a really good safrinha crop is there with all the recent rain they've had. They got off to a late start, but they're getting rain all the way up until the end of the season that they typically get it, and they're getting not only caught up, but they're actually starting to shape up for a really strong crop. Taking a look at the overnight. It shows that we're up slightly with corn and wheat, a little bit of a bounce back for beans, but this relative to 24 hours ago, these numbers are all down for where we were at this time yesterday morning. Corn yesterday morning was around 4.94, so we're down about 4 cents. Soybeans were just over 10.50, so we're down about 2 cents there. And wheat was around 5.63, so we're down about 11 cents there. And like I said, we really took a hit yesterday on the prospect of rain in these hard red winter wheat areas. Also, no doubt, some of that was also the impact of Russia raising their forecast or their wheat output. So I'm sure that had played a role as well. But no doubt, a lot of people talking about how the forecast for rain in these western growing regions of the corn and grain belt, how beneficial that's going to be. And it remains to be seen. It actually has to fall. Not much. Usually you don't put so much stock in a 10-day forecast. Don't have any numbers, basis numbers. Our provider didn't provide them yesterday. I hope to have those today so that we can share those basis and international price updates with you tomorrow and the rest of the week. That's all for today. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.